Hi everyone and welcome back to Uniquely You. I'm your host Unique Essence and thank you guys so much for stopping by today. So I don't really know what episode this is, but I think we have more than 5 episodes now, y'all. This is really like a set in stone podcast now. It's so insane how far I have come with this. I'm just so happy to be doing this and still like being consistent and just overall putting my best out there. I had put on my Instagram story like the other day what are some things I should start implementing into my podcast episodes, and y'all gave me a lot of feedback. Thank you guys so much for that, by the way, because I definitely needed it. And so one thing that someone said was that I should start doing mental health check-ins and I let you guys know what I'm dealing with, and I feel like that's really good. And I also want to make sure you guys can check in with me as well, so like feel free to always leave in the comments how you're doing, what you're going through, and like I'll always respond, I'll always give advice. Like always feel free to do that because I'm always here to help. Before we get into today's episode, let's do a little catch up on me because it's been a little while since you guys have saw me. I have been doing good. I have actually been doing my best for a while. I'm being consistent with my content. I'm being consistent with YouTube. I've met new people. Like, I've had so many people reach out to me and say they want to be friends. It's so crazy because I was saying this year I want to make a lot of new friends and meet a lot of new people, and like I have been doing that. It's so crazy. So I've been feeling good. Like I don't know, y'all, I feel like I've really been feeling good. This new year is really feeling like my year. Like 2025 is really my year. I'm not gonna lie. Other than that though, I've been chilling. I've been good. Still going to the library, still journaling, still doing my thing, and overall just pouring into myself. Today's episode will be about the pressure to conform versus the freedom of being yourself. I was so scared to tackle this topic because I feel like this is the main thing that I actually still deal with currently in my life. Like making sure that I'm not putting myself in the box and not conforming to everybody else's expectations of me. I was just like, you know what? We live and we learn. I gotta tackle this. It's kind of one of my hardest things, but like I feel like I would do better at least trying to tackle it instead of just pushing to the back of my head, because something we're not doing is acting like stuff ain't there, okay? So yeah, I'm definitely kind of nervous about doing this, but it's just like, you know what? I have to tackle it down. I have to get into it. So let's get into what societal conformity is. Societal conformity is when people change how they act, think, or even dress to fit into the expectations of a group, culture, or society as a whole. The expectations can come from family, friends, or even the media. Now, I know for a fact that all of us have someone out there that has obviously made us conform in some way. And I don't mean in like a good or bad way, but just like we all have conformed to something in our life, regardless if it's how you dress, how you act, like what you do. But it's so important that we don't like take it too far, because sometimes you end up living your life for other people and that's not okay. The main thing with this podcast that I'm pushing out every message in my video is to make sure that you're living a life for yourself. So it's so important to make sure that you're not conforming to anyone out there, except your own expectations of yourself. I always worry about you. Now, I feel like this kind of like directly conflicts with authenticity, because I feel like that's kind of all about being yourself regardless of what anyone else thinks. So I want to share a story about how I myself conformed and put myself in places where I shouldn't have. So the main thing that I feel like I conformed in like inside of myself is my personality. I feel like back then I always filtered it or like always died it down for the people around me because they couldn't deal with it or just couldn't handle it, and like overall made me feel bad for having the personality that I do have. And like I'm a real talkative, bubbly, outgoing like person. Like I feel like I'm always real big energy when I go out, but I feel like with the family that I had, I always learned to kind of just die it all down and like be this little shy, anxious person. And now like I have crazy anxiety, but it's like I feel like I just always died myself down for other people. And like now that I'm older, trying to build my life up, trying to meet new people, trying to do all these new things, it's so hard because my whole life I was being a person that I wasn't. I feel like me coming out of that and like making this podcast, doing my YouTube, just overall putting myself out there is me like showcasing my personality and just overall combating with what everybody else had in store for me, or like the expectations that other people had for me. If there's anyone out there in your life making you feel like you can't be yourself or just putting you in boxes that you don't like to be in, I feel like it's so important that you let go of them people and just overall put yourself in environments where you don't got to be around people like that and just make choices that benefit you. I feel like it's so important that we make sure we're always making choices that are important to us and benefit us, because we are only here for us. Like you shouldn't be living your life for anybody else but yourself. I want to get into why conformity is safe but isn't, and like here are a few things that I have written down that I feel like are the main things that it just overall like blocks out in your life. The first thing is that it limits growth. I feel like we cannot grow in environments where we can't be ourselves. I feel like it's so important to make sure that we're always rooting ourselves out of environments like that, because overall you're putting yourself in a bad place and like it just stops everything, your happiness, your growth, you learning, everything. And my main thing that I have written down, I feel like this is the main one that I feel like it really affects. It affects your relationships with other people and the people around you. Imagine if you're this happy, outgoing, bubbly person, and because of the people around you being so mad, sad, gloomy, angry all the time, you're kind of accustomed to them and like start acting like them, it's gonna stop you yourself from meeting people who are also happily, bubbly, and outgoing. You're gonna start feeling like you're always surrounded around people who are negative and just draining. I feel like I was in that boat at one point. Like, I don't really talk to a lot of my family no more. And it's not that it's no beef or anything, but it's just like, I can't be around energy like that. I feel like I'm a real big personality type of person. I got a real big personality. I'm really outgoing. I'm really out there. And like, my family is kind of real negative, real just not positive, and I feel like it was affecting me myself. And so the main thing that I feel like I did for myself was just remove myself from the situation. I feel like it's always our responsibility to let people go and just put ourselves in better predicaments, and that's what I did. So that's the main thing that I feel like it affects your relationships and just your experience with other people. Now that we have gotten to that, it's time to get into a few tips and tricks to help you guys embrace your true self. So my first tip, which I have written down by the way, my first tip is to start slow. With anything you do, guys, always start slow. You are not going to change overnight, and that is okay. It takes learning, it takes growth, it takes a lot of failure to reach the place that you want to reach, and that's okay. So always take slow steps. There's this quote that my friend told me, shout out to Andrea by the way, get 1% better every day. Just 1% better. 1%, that's it. Because at the end of the day, like, we're human and we're not no freaking Superman, y'all. We can't just get up and be like, okay, I'm a new person, like, that's it, I'm getting to it. Like, no, it takes learning, it takes growth, it takes a lot of work. My next tip is to identify areas where you feel pressure to conform. So before you try to embrace the side of you that you always have just dimmed down and pushed away, figure out what it is you actually conform. For me, that was my personality. The next thing is to define your values and then make decisions that align with your values. So if you're a real honest person, like you value being honest, you value love and respect, don't be no person who value honesty and respect and then you go around people who are disrespectful and liars. You're literally putting yourself in a bad place for no reason. So make sure you always identify your values and then align yourself with things that align with your values as well. And then my last and just most important tip is to embrace the discomfort as growth. I feel like when we start doing these things, it can feel so uncomfortable, so just like, oh my gosh, like this is so awkward, this is so terrible. But embrace that discomfort as growth. You're doing something that you have never done before, and overall it's going to feel different, and that's okay. I feel like sometimes a lot of us take different as not good, but you have to fight through that and just get through that and reach the light at the end of the tunnel, because there's always something there. Overall, in this episode, which is so short, Andrea and Tiny gonna get on me for this, I'm already knowing. Overall, in this episode, I feel like always remember that you're not the only person going through this. All of us in some way have conformed to other people's expectations, and it's like, it's not really a good or bad thing. It only becomes a bad thing when you start doing it for like other people and just overall like stop being your true self. And so I always remember that, like, y'all, we're all out here trying our best, and like, end of the day, like, do what you gotta do for you. I feel like the main thing when it comes to conformity is people around us and the spaces that we're in, and so it's so important that we always remove ourselves from the situation. I saw this post and it was like, it is your responsibility to let go of people and places that do not serve you. We can't think for other people, but we can think for ourselves. And I feel like make sure you're always making decisions that benefit you. Yeah, guys, I think that's it for this episode. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really kind of nervous about how this gonna come out, because me myself, I'm still so nervous like talking about this topic, because I feel like I struggle with it so bad now. But like, I watch my own episodes too, y'all. I be getting advice from myself sometimes. You know how you be a person that give advice, but like you don't take your own advice? No, baby, I take my own advice. I go back and watch all my episodes and always take it back in. So that's why I'm hitting this topic, but I'm so nervous about how this gonna come out, because I deal with this so much now in my life. But like, I got this podcast, I got my YouTube, I got my content, I know I met new people. Like, I'm making the decisions that are better helping me, and I feel like overall that's all that matters. Get 1% better every day. I'm telling you, I love that quote. Like, I really love that, for real. I'm writing that down actually, because I need that. But if you guys enjoy, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more Uniquely You. And yeah, like, I just love doing this, y'all. I love this podcast. I love it. See you guys soon.